Okay, I'm back. In our last episode, we got interrupted just as we were getting into Psalm 5. The phone call was my husband coming home from the hospital after a hip replacement. It went very well, and that's what I've been doing for the last few days, weeks. Anyway, Psalm 5. Remember at this point, David is not the favorite anymore. Saul has kind of lost it over David. And we've talked about jealousy versus envy. At this point, Saul is both. He's jealous of his own power, meaning jealousy means you're going to take something away from me. He also is envious of David, meaning he would like to be David, or at least more like David, which leads him to a great sense of anger to the point where he's throwing spears at David. Well, about this same time, he marries Michal, who happens to be Saul's daughter. And he meets Saul's son, Jonathan. And they become enormous friends. They are famous for their friendship, which we don't have time for right now. But knowing these two people is going to help David in the next episode. Right now, we have this stuff going on in the court, and David writes Psalm 5. He wants it to be played with a flute or pipes, and it's a lament. Okay. Laments make up 65 or more of the Psalms. It's a good prayer form. It is a pattern. And it's kind of interesting to look at, because when you first look at this poem, you think, he's really upset about something. True. Okay. This is called a morning prayer. It's suggested that people pray first thing in the morning. Your mind is clear. You haven't started the day's troubles. And that gives you time to wait a little more patiently, because maybe you're busy all day, so you wait for the answer. Okay, at this point we know David has enemies in high places, as they say. Let's look at how he starts this. Listen to my words, Lord. Consider my lament. Hear my cry for help, my King and my God, for to you I pray. Okay, basically, he's saying, please listen to me. Please help me. Consider my lament. It's also called a complaint or a protest psalm, so you kind of get the idea of where you can go with this. The pattern here is that you start out with the very first thing you want to complain about. You want to explain your problem and what you're feeling right now. It's a lament. In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice, and in the morning I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly. The morning prayers, important. Okay. In the first few verses, he tells God, I pray, I'm a morning prayer, and I want to start my day out that way. But I need to tell you all of the stuff that's going on in my head. Okay. It's important to pray in the morning, and remember, David says, I will watch and pray. Okay. While I'm waiting, I'm going to keep busy praying. He waits expectantly. Okay, here's where he's going into trying to say, God, I know you don't like these people, and I certainly don't want anything to do with them, but they're after me. Help me out. Okay? For you are not a God who is pleased with wickedness. With you, evil people are not welcome. The arrogant cannot stand in your presence. You hate all who do wrong. You destroy those who tell lies. The bloodthirsty and deceitful, you, Lord, detest. Okay, look at the strength of these words. He's using some really emotional words. Lament, I wait, expectant, arrogant, destroy, hate, deceitful, liars, and detest. Kind of makes me wonder if maybe David is saying, you know, my enemies are your enemies. I'm trying to be like you. Help me. Because then he says, after the word detest, but I, by your great love, can come into your house. In reverence, I bow down toward your holy temple. Okay. Now he's coming back and saying, listen, I got a lot of enemies, it's true. And they're your enemies also. He says to God, you need to punish them. But really, they punish themselves. They destroy themselves. Hosea, at one point early in the Bible, writes, Israel, you destroyed yourself, but your help is in me. We destroy ourselves if we do not ask for help. Even the enemies of God can ask for help. Then they become God's friends. Think so? David tells him now, I'm going to describe for you these people, and you tell me. He wants to say, if you would help me with this, I can do it. I can help people. Lead me, Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me. Not a word from their mouth can be trusted. Their heart is full with malice. Their throat is an open grave. With their tongues they tell lies. Lying is a big one. God does not like that. Well, what we see here then is there's not a temple at this point, okay? There is no temple. There's a tent. A little house made of goat skins, and that's where David goes to meet God. God is everywhere, and we meet him wherever we are praying, wherever and whenever. He uses the word righteous, okay? Lead me. The word righteous is special in the Bible, most definitely. Lead me in your righteous way means help me destroy those enemies. They are making it hard for me to be a good Jewish faithful. Okay? He says he wants God to declare them guilty, let their intrigues be their downfall. In other words, don't help them. Let them destroy themselves. Banish them for their many sins, for they have rebelled against you. Now, at this point, it might sound a little arrogant, telling God what to do. He's not really. He's saying, I'm angry too, because of what they're doing to you. They're rebelling. They're not even worthy. God doesn't like to hear that. So he doesn't go into that. He goes to the end and says, but let all who take refuge in you be glad. Let them ever sing for joy. Take refuge. At this point, David might be looking for a place to hide. He's got problems. Major. He wants that protection. Spread your protection over them, that those who love your name may rejoice. Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. So he's bringing back some of that soldier stuff, the shield. But the part about singing for joy is something that we need to remember. He says, okay, here's all these things that are wrong, and here's why I'm on your side with this. Please be on my side. he is saying that getting rid of these people, or even letting them destroy themselves, is going to make it easier for everyone else to be better Jews. Okay? An open grave has dead bodies in it. Those are not nice places. Their mouth is like an open grave. Nothing in there but decomposition, smell, something you don't want to see. This whole psalm now finishes out with a picture. The Lord is all around the people that love the Lord, like a cover over them that can stop people from hurting them. This makes the people of God happy, even when their enemies are very close. And it makes God happy too. He tells himself that he's going to have to run away. He is really upset. He knows his life is in danger. And luckily, he has a couple of inside sources. Jonathan sends a message that helps David escape from Saul. Now, some things happen in between. We're going to jump a ways in. But long story short, he goes to Samuel for a while, kind of hide out. And then he goes out into the wilderness and into some of the smaller kingdoms around and gathers up some mercenaries, basically, to start his own army. Yeah, he's ready to move. He is gone. I think Jonathan knows where he is, maybe even Michael, but they're not telling. Perhaps they see their father for what he is. As we move through this next section, David is in deep, deep trouble, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on the laments because he gets a little bit rough with his language, and we want to move the story along. Okay? Remember, laments make up half, approximately, of all the Psalms. So follow that pattern, and you've got yourself a good prayer. Think about it. Read Psalm 5.